episode 50 of my sports recap of the week. This is it. It's done. So in honor of this, before I even get started, I just want to say to everyone who's been following my sports recap of the week, a couple things I'd like to say is that first of all, I do apologize for these late uploads. The motivation of this is just kind of dwindling. So I decided to stop at episode 50. That's like almost the whole year of doing this. I had a lot of fun doing it. But in the process, during my career, I thought about some new ideas. Like, I don't know, like making more football content, or I want to do more. I just want to do more. Make this like an everyday thing, you know what I mean? But I don't know. But all I know is this was a lot of fun. And I just couldn't do it anymore. And another thing I'd like to say is thank you all for watching these videos. I had a lot of fun, again, like I've been saying it, but it truly meant a lot that you guys watch these, and the fact that you guys still do. I see the views are still going up, even though they're like almost none are like 100 views. I think there was only one or two that are like 100 views for this series. But regardless of which ones they were, thank you for watching these videos. So for this week, which was last week, we're going to talk about some things that happened, and we have the winner of the week right here. So for the Miami Dolphins, we're going to start off. They played a really hard-fought game against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, and it just so happens to have a snow lake effect, which is, if you don't know what lake effect is, it is pretty much an effect of the weather from warm water. And even in the month of December and November, because this happened in November too, in this type of weather in the winter, that lake is still warm. So the warm temperature, the warm energy from that water actually goes up, but the cold air actually forces the warm energy out of that lake, and it creates this big storm that's like an almost never-ending rain, or even if it's a never-ending rain, it's also a snow squall, and it brings down a lot of snow, and it could also have a thunder snow, and it is such a harsh energy going down. It's big, and it could be dangerous. It's pretty much a hard falling snow. That's a lake effect, and it happened in that weekend in Buffalo. And in the process of it, there was a football game. We have the Dolphins starting off with the field goal, and then the touchdowners responded by Quinton Morris, which was a 14-yard pass. Jason Sanders with the field goal. Naheem Hines with the touchdown for Buffalo. Salvin Ahmed with the 11-yard run for Miami, 13-14. And at the end of right at the end of the second quarter, it's touchdown Buffalo. But Dolphins respond big in the third quarter, with Jalen Waddle scoring that nice 67-yard pass from Tua in the cold weather. He was so fast in that route, so fast. I couldn't believe my eyes. Then Tyreek Hill responds with a 20-yard pass, 26-21. In the fourth quarter, we start off with our field goal, 47-yarder. Dawson Knox, 5-yard pass from Josh Allen. When Josh Allen ran for a 2-point conversion, that did not look like it crossed the plane. Let me be real. That did not look like it crossed the plane. It just did not look like it. So because of it, they tied the game like that. The referees in this game were awful. They were so goddamn awful. Tyreek Hill was clearly interfered by the Buffalo defender. He was clearly early with the contact, and because of it, Tyreek Hill could not catch the ball. However, the game went on as like it was a clean play, when it really was not a clean play. It was pass interference, clear as day, and those guys didn't even have the guts to call it. The inconsistencies of the pass interference is unbelievable. We would talk about roughing the passer. God, that takes the cake. You don't even know what pass interference is anymore. You don't. And, last week, I don't know if I even covered it, but there was a roughing the passer, and I'm pretty sure I did cover it. If I didn't, let me remind you. We also got screwed by a bad referee decision. You know what that was? When Jalen Phillips came in and then sacked Justin Herbert, and he didn't even have full weight on his body, and yet they called it a roughing the passer. What is a roughing the passer by rule? And also with the pass interference, what is a passive interference by definition? We can't bring the challenging rule back, can we? I hope not, because that was a disaster in the 2019 season. If y'all remember that. That Drew Brees, that Saints play that was not called pass interference was as obvious as it gets. That is pass interference. This one was pass interference. And yet, something about those teams that get the benefit of the doubts by not getting the call. And because of it, Buffalo wins the game by field goal. I will give one thing to say. We won the game in Miami, right? And they were complaining how hot it was. When it was snowing that hard, there was a 50-degree temperature difference between Buffalo and Miami. Miami's temperature was 76. This game was 26 degrees. Snowfall was coming down. Let's just say this. I'll just say, just to trigger some people, I like to file an OPEC for the weather distraction. Because you know what y'all did? You know what Buffalo Bills did? The fans? They were throwing snowballs on the field to delay the game, distract some players, and get them in their heads. But one of them nearly hurt Tyreek Hill. It got him in the helmet, thank God. But imagine if he wasn't wearing a helmet and he got hit by a fucking snowball. There would be a lawsuit. There would have been a banned ejection. There would be serious problems in Buffalo if he ever got hurt like that. So I don't want to hear anything about we're the good fan base, or we don't play in the hot weather, we play in the cold weather. I don't want to hear any of it. Bottom line is, if you decide to hurt our player for throwing snowballs while delaying the game, you are the problem. I'm just gonna openly admit it. You are the problem. You are pathetic. Pathetic. So with this loss, we're still in second place in the AFC East. We're still holding on to the playoff spot. So here's what we need to do. We have to root against the Chargers, and we have to beat the Packers on Christmas Day. We cannot beat the Packers. We don't stand a chance, because New England is trying to fight so hard for the playoff spot, and you cannot count them out. You just can't. The Colts got the Chargers on a Monday night, which is next week. I don't have faith in the Colts, because what they did against Minnesota. Yeah, I don't have faith in it. We have to root for the Jaguars on Thursday, which is tomorrow, against the Jets. We cannot have the Jets win. And furthermore, we have to root for the Bengals. So the Patriots have a tougher time, because the Patriots, they got the Bengals this weekend. Then they got us, the Dolphins, on January 1st, New Year's Day, and then the decision week, they got Buffalo. So it is critical for the Chargers. Like I said, they got the Monday night game against the Colts. Week 17, they got They got the Rams on Sunday night. So Battle of Los Angeles. I don't expect anything from the Rams because they're officially gone from the playoffs. And I think they have the Broncos. Yeah, they have the Broncos. So Chargers have an easier schedule. And then for the Jets, and those are the teams we're keeping a close eye on. They got the Jaguars, which is tomorrow. They also have the Seahawks in Seattle. And they have the Dolphins week 18. So those are the teams to watch out for. And if anything, this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one to get it right. First off, we cannot rely on them to lose. It's just a sad fact. We cannot rely on them to lose. And the bigger problem is those two teams that we just mentioned are division rivals. Which comes down to this: we have to win. Period. All right. Next, the Florida Panthers. ESPN Plus Hockey Nights against the Columbus Blue Jackets. 4-0. 4-0 shutouts. And I think it was Bobrovsky with the shutouts. Brandon Montour scores. Matthew Tkachuk scores his, along with Alexander Barkov. And then Sam Reinhart with the empty netter. 4-0 in this game. Florida Panthers was shooting those pucks while Bobrovsky was saving 22 shots. 22 saves with Sergei Bobrovsky against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Good victory. And then they ran into a tough opponent, Pittsburgh Penguins. They're going to the Stanley Cup. And one of those teams are going to the Stanley Cup. But we do start off good. Ryan Lomberg gets his 4th goal. And then Chris Letang with a shorty. I mean, you just cannot let them go by like that. It is unacceptable what happened. And then to make things matters worse, Jake Guentzel on a power play goal to take the lead for Pittsburgh. And then in the third period, Evanky Malakin with the power play goal for 31 Pittsburgh. Then later on, actually a couple minutes later, Sam Reinhart would try to bounce back. And then Guentzel again with the empty netter to make it a 4-2 Pittsburgh win. And then I'm thinking, there it is. Another example of the inconsistency of the Florida Panthers. And then we go to Newark, where we win this game 4-2. And if you have watched that video, I don't think I need to explain much because it's already on YouTube. Go check it out. And it was such a good night. It was such a good night for us fans. My only question is, how did Sam Reinhart get the credit of the goal? I'm not complaining, but I really thought when I was at that arena, it really looked like Tkachuk was the one that hit the stick, and it went to the back of the net. It looked like it from my eyes, but I'm not complaining, but I just thought that Tkachuk was the one that got the credit. So yeah, so Florida Panthers had a pretty okay week. Let's go to the Hurricanes basketball. There was only one game that was played, and that was against St. Francis Red Flash. I actually watched their football team play a few months ago. I was in Florida, and I came back home, and then I watched their game up here, where I am. They're the Red Flash. They are a NEC conference team, and an NEC conference, it means Northeast Conference, much like SEC, Southeast Conference. Even though SEC is clearly larger, there is Northeast Conference. The Northeast Conference consists of Wagner College, which is my local college, Fairleigh Dickinson, St. Francis Brooklyn, Sacred Heart, Stonehill, and in this team, St. Francis. And then there's Central Connecticut, Merrimack, and Long Island University. That is the Northeast Conference teams. So, anyway, off topic. It's a start off with 37-37 tie on the first half, and then in the second half, Miami Hurricanes completely took over, as expected. ACC versus NEC. You can't. There's no way you can not lose to the NEC conference team. With this win, before this game, we were unranked, and heading to that game, we are ranked 25th in the nation. That changed after that game. But some starters, 20 points and 22 points for Poplar, or Isaiah Wong, and then Miller. Those guys, they're still going strong. And now, let's quickly talk about. Actually, no, nothing about the Hurricanes women's team of that particular week. Marlins free agency, there's nothing. It is such a disappointment with the Miami Marlins all season. There has been a lot of crazy signings around the league, and a lot of luxury tax that is owned from the certain team to pay for the taxes. All I'm saying is there has to be a salary cap, because there are these signings and it failed. Actually, I'll just tell you right now. Correa, who was one of the targets for the Marlins, went to the Giants, failed the medical, and then suddenly signed with the New York Mets for 12 years. Like, what? 12 years? $320 million? Or $350 million? Jesus Christ. That blew me away when I woke up to hear that news today. And yet the Marlins did absolutely nothing. That Mets team literally outbid the entire payroll of the Miami Marlins. They spend more than our entire payroll. And no, the minor league contracts do not count. We don't have a single major league signing yet, and it's late December. And before you know it, spring training is here. Marlins did nothing as of yet. There's still a little bit of time left. But if we don't trade for people like Johnny Cueto, because I'm hearing some things about Johnny Cueto, Martinez, we're still trying to. I think Martinez is still available, because Justin Turner is not available anymore. Personally, now if I think about it, I don't think any player wants to go to Miami. And that might be a sad fact, because there are a couple of problems. One, the unwillingness to spend. Number two, the fan support is not good. And that'll lead to number three, the distrust of the front office. Yes, I said it. Even if they have the best season ever, they can still get traded away. That's the sad fucking fact. So, if you're not winning games, it's one thing. But if you don't have fan support, then that's the problem. That means the front office is doing something wrong. And they've been doing something wrong for so long, ever since Sherman took over. You know, before Sherman took over, yeah, we weren't making playoffs, but we were winning the games. That's not a lot to ask for, folks. Winning games, getting close to the playoffs, we can take it. I'll have one season where we're actually competitive to try and nearly make the playoffs. That's what I'm asking for. Making the playoffs is a lot to ask for. The bigger ask is to make the World Series. That's too much to ask. All I'm asking is for a competitive team. And right now, I don't think we're going to be competitive for a few years, because of what happens with the Mets and how they're signing these big contracts San Diego, arguably the smaller market city than Miami, is signing big markets. Like Bogarts, 11 years. It's just insane to me. And one final thought about this is that when there's no salary cap with the big teams like the Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, Angels, Boston, Philadelphia, if there's no salary cap, and it's really hurting teams like, Arizona, Colorado, Miami, Tampa, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Kansas City, I could go on. It hurts them more than it hurts the big teams. That's a sad fact. That is legit a sad fact. So, and finally, winner of the week, the Miami Heat. They play against the Pacers. They start the road trip on the road against the Pacers, and we won this game 87-82 in Indianapolis. Jimmy Butler has scored 20 points while Bam Adebayo is scoring 22. When Bam Adebayo plays good basketball, then we win big games. That's what it seems like this week. Then next we play against OKC Thunder. And just two words that we can say. Tyler Hero. Hot hands and clutched the game for the Miami Heat. And even the game winner. 35 points for Tyler Hero. And that shot at the end of the game, what led us to victory. We were this close to losing the game, and then Tyler Hero making those bucket shots. And then we won the game against Oklahoma City Thunder, 110-108. Then next, in Houston, Jimmy Butler's home city, we won this game 111-108. And this is an example of the winnable game. Although, I'm a little surprised to see that Haslam started the game. Yeah, Udonis Haslam started the game. Because Bam was not playing this game. So he steps in and takes over. And then eventually Highsmith, Robinson, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And when I mean Robinson, I meant Orlando Robinson, signing with a two-way. But Butler was scoring 20 points. Tyler Hero, in the last two games, were scoring as many as 35. This game, he scored 41 points. In the last two of those games on the road, 72 points. 72 points. And that kind of momentum and a lot of shooting from Tyler Hero was enough to win those games. And we had beaten the Houston Rockets 111-108. And then we gone to not San Antonio, but Mexico City, our first game in Mexico City ever. And we won against San Antonio. So, in this game, we won this game 111-101. Jimmy Butler scoring 26 points, and Bam Adebayo coming back from the ankle sprain, with scoring 22 points with 13 rebounds. Tyler Hero was scoring 21 points, and then Strus, as well as Duncan Robinson, scoring 12. Mexico City crowd was really good. I had a nice time watching the game, part of it, until I went to Prudential Center that same night. That is your winner of the week, 4-0 on a road trip, and that's it. That's it for the Miami Sports recap of the week. There could be a Christmas special, and then that's it for good. I plan on uploading a couple of videos on Christmas Day. I actually did a fixed version of the Miami Dolphins vlog that I did back in September, because there were a couple of things I did not get. Like, there's a certain clip that I didn't get in on the original video. So let me know what you think about that. If I should upload it as a fixed version. You don't have to watch, but I'm planning on uploading it anyway. And then afterwards, And if I really think it's a good idea, Christmas edition, Christmas special Miami Sports Recap of the Week, and that can be the final sports recap of the week for Miami Sports, and that could truly conclude the series. So I'm not going to say finish yet, because I might be able to do that, but if I did do it, then that will be the final episode of Miami Sports Recap of the Week. So yeah, but in just case if it's not, thank you all so much for watching these videos. And new ideas are coming up, I promise. But one thing I know for sure, season 3 is going to start fairly soon. I have big ideas, and I hope I capitalize on them. Thank you all so much for watching these videos and this video as well. If you have liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, because Miami TVG has you back, and when he does, he'll be right there with your favorite team that you deserve. Miami TVG signing up, folks.